On your left.
On my left. Got it. Don't say it. Don't you say
On
it.
your left.
Come on!
What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
It's Alex.
It's Iconic Comic. We're back with the On Your Left podcast. This is episode 9. It's been a while. Before we get into everything, guys, we wanted to remind you that we've recently partnered up with T-Blocks. It's a really cool geeky t-shirt subscription service. We did a whole video on it. You can go check that out for all the minute details. But the main detail is that you can use our code IconicTBX when you check out with them, and you're going to save 10% off any order you do over there. Now, without further ado, let's get on into this thing.
Like, it's been so long since we've done a podcast. First off, I want to talk about like the amount of followers that we've accumulated on iTunes.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand.
I mean,
I don't get it.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know you appreciate it too.
But I feel like it's the same way for YouTube too. It's like why are there so many people watching us?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's really awesome that you guys have have clicked our links and played us in your cars when you drive to work
and
or
if you're
whatever.
if you're listening on iTunes, make sure you rate us and leave us a review over there on iTunes, because that'll help us jump up the rankings or whatever. But I kind of wanted to start off today. There was some news that came out on Thursday.
Thursday?
Are we just going to call it that from now on? Thursday?
Well, yeah, that's why it's called Thursday, because it was originally called Thursday.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I learn something new every day. Wow. But anyway, on Thursday, we got some Star Wars news, and that is 2 big pieces of Star Wars news. So we were all, I actually was okay with it, but a lot of people were like, really, Rian Johnson's not coming back to do episode 9. We got JJ coming back, and JJ did a good job, but I'm just hoping it's not going to be, Return of the Jedi 2. It's going to be something different. But there's a reason that Rian Johnson didn't come back, and that's because he's basically developing a new Star Wars trilogy with new characters and a new corner of the galaxy that we've never seen on the films before. So I thought we should start by kind of speculating what we think they should do, and what do you think they will do with those?
I know we talked about it before, off camera, off screen, off microphone, but you would think they would do something like way like the prequel
Old
to prequel.
Republic.
Yeah, probably the Old Republic.
Oh my God.
So, what do you think they're going to show with that?
I want to see the creation of the Sith. So, you had an army of Sith, and this is just like, I think it's canon, the story behind it. You had the army of Sith, and then Darth Bane basically wiped out all of them, except for his apprentice, and that's where the rule of 2 came from. I would just love to, I want to see the war between the Jedi and the Sith, or even just the formation of the Jedi as a philosophy.
Yeah.
They were Force users, but there weren't always Jedi.
Right.
There were always religions, but there weren't always Christianity, Muslim, Jewish. It's a religion, basically.
So where do you think Yoda will play into that?
That's the thing. Everybody's like, I don't want a Yoda movie.
No.
It's like a Boba Fett movie. I don't need it. Han Solo, it's pushing it. It could be good, and it could add to the lore, but I don't need to see young Yoda with, a head full of hair and, macking up in his high school days. But this, if you put him in, a movie that takes place now, if we're going way back, this is thousands of years ago, and Yoda was in his 900, like he was when 900 years old you become, see how good you look.
Yeah.
So if they were to go just about 1,000 years back, then maybe you could do Yoda in there. But I just want to see where they got their philosophy and where the Sith got their philosophy from, because, the Sith are always looked at as the bad guys, and we learn a little bit about their motives, but it may, broaden their characteristics if we see how they formed in general.
Right. And, when I was watching episode 4, 5, and 6 with the Empire, we only saw like the bad part.
Yeah.
Like they were the bad guys, but the Empire was, well, that's what it was. Is the Empire? They were in charge of all the people. They were the government. You know, they were there serving the people. We've never seen that side. And Battlefront 2 is from the point of view of somebody, like one of the bad guys. So to see how that formed, I would assume it would be. I want to say everyone was kind of on the same path, but then there were a couple people that deviated from it.
They could play it very, you know, like, I don't know if I want them to, but they could do it very similar to, you know, you got your Greek mythology, but also you got your Christianity, you know, the fallen angel, you know, everybody was on the right path, and then someone fucked up.
Well, that's what they've been
You have
doing anyway.
Ares.
I mean, that's what they've been doing anyway with Star Wars since the beginning.
The fallen from the light person.
Exactly. They've pulled from everything else that this world has created, like our world has created through culture.
I mean,
stuff
the
like
Empire
that.
is straight up like that's Nazi symbolism right there. Like with the way they march, and you know the generals, they even look like they're wearing the uniforms.
Exactly.
But in the conquest of the planets, taking them over. But what I was saying about, you know, finding the motives behind the Sith and maybe adding new, no pun intended, light to them, I think that was something that the prequels really missed on, because they had a real opportunity with Anakin to show that, and they really rushed it. Now, I will say, I do not. Attack of the Clones is the worst. That is the worst Star Wars movie ever put up there. I saw some people be like, The Force Awakens is the worst Star Wars movie ever, and I went, have you watched Attack of the Clones? But I actually really enjoy Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
The thing I don't enjoy about it is how fast he turned. Like, he went from Jedi Knight talking to Obi-Wan, like when Obi-Wan's about to go away, it's like, goodbye, old friend, and may the Force be with you, and, you know, thank you for everything that you taught me and whatever, to like 10 minutes later in the movie, he's killing kids. Like, it was such a turn. And they make Anakin really dumb in that movie.
You know, what makes a great villain, in my opinion, and I'm just going to use, just the first thing that came to mind was Spider-Man Homecoming with the Vultures. Might be a spoiler. Whatever.
If you haven't seen that movie, no.
Well, just go see the
Come
movie.
on.
Anyway, what makes a good villain is, like, with the Vulture, he was doing bad things, but if you were in his shoes, you'd probably do the same thing, because there were good undertones to what he was doing. That's not the right word, but, you know, he was doing it for the good of his family.
His motives were sound. It was his actions that were the bad part of it.
So I think,
and it wasn't even what he was doing. It was because the smuggling the weapons, it's not a horrible crime. It's that he's giving these powerful weapons to really shitty people, and they're going to kill people with those weapons.
Exactly. And what makes a good villain is the mentality could be mistaken for a hero's mentality, but the actions say otherwise. And I think what you were saying was they had an opportunity to do that with Anakin, but he was just clay.
You turned her against me.
You've done that yourself.
Oh, that's a great scene. I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. It's a great scene.
They just missed it because. But how could they have done it though?
Well, it's not really a problem with Revenge of the Sith. It's just a problem with the prequels as a whole. I mean, and you know what? I'm going to say it right now. I don't think The Phantom Menace is a bad movie. I think it's a bad Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's kind of like, you know, I'm trying to, like, Spider-Man 3 is not, you know, a horribly put together, like, you know, structured movie. But as a comic book movie and a Spider-Man movie, it doesn't live up. So The Phantom Menace, it's got its moments.
Yeah.
But I think the trilogy should have started. We didn't need to see Anakin as a 10-year-old. I would have rather saw them start him as like 18, 17, 18.
The Phantom Menace, the only thing it showed was like, okay, he's a good.
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, it showed like, okay, he can do pod racing and he can.
Pod racing's cool. I'm sorry.
That scene was really cool, but it really didn't add to character that much. I guess showing that Anakin can, like, he had to grow up kind of fast. But
I didn't sense that. I didn't really feel like he was the chosen one after watching that movie.
Yeah.
That movie, and I didn't like the whole immaculate conception thing they did. Like he was Jesus. Like it was like, well, who's the father? Well, he didn't have a father. Like, he just kind of showed up. It's like, really, we're doing the Jesus thing. Like they already kind of do that with Superman nowadays. I didn't think they needed to make Anakin that kind of figure. But if they would have started like the first, obviously they probably would have to change the title. But if they started the first prequel movie with Anakin like 17, and like we see, because the best development of Anakin's character and why he goes dark is in the Clone Wars, the show.
yeah.
If they would have done that throughout, and we see the Clone Wars, and we see, it's Attack of the Clones, but the Clone Wars doesn't really happen in that movie. It's just kind of the first battle at the end of the actual wars, and then there's this huge gap of time, and then Revenge of the Sith. If they would have, structured the Clone Wars in there, and then more of, Sidious actually, in his ear, manipulating him, changing his views on the Jedi, but they kind of try to do all that in Revenge of the Sith. Which makes Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones really feel like useless movies. Like there's really no point to them.
Now I
especially
do think
Attack of the Clones.
I still think that the reason Darth Vader was a thing was because of Mace Windu.
Oh, he definitely had a huge part.
He had
in
a
it.
huge part. Now what we were saying was he changed too quickly. I don't think it's as quick as you were saying, because they didn't make him a Jedi Knight because Nick Fury decided not to have that.
That's not what I meant. I meant he changed in that specific scene when Mace Windu dies.
Scene.
Because he walks in saying, well, first, he's like, we need to go arrest him. Well, he's like, give me one reason I shouldn't kill you right now. And then he goes and gets Mace Windu. We should arrest him. He shows up, and it makes Anakin look so dumb. It's like he's literally shooting Force lightning at Mace Windu. Well, first he goes, the Jedi are taking over. And then he's like, Mace Windu's like, I'm going to arrest you. Then he starts Force lightning Mace Windu, screaming, while going, Anakin, look, he's the bad guy, while I'm Force lightning him right now. And then Anakin just straight up, kills Mace Windu, and then immediately goes, you're my master now. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like you... Don't get me started.
Yeah, but I think Anakin was predisposed because of, rightfully so, they didn't accept him as a Jedi Knight at that, from the get-go, didn't get what he wanted, which is a pouty child.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Mace Windu was jealous of Anakin's power
just
in general,
power.
and how fast of a learner he was. And it makes... Can you imagine if we would have saw in the live-action movies Anakin with his apprentice? Because he had an apprentice. It was Ahsoka Tano. If you would have saw that through the movies, that would have made the change even more heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had more friends than just Obi-Wan. He had family, and he turned on all of them, and that would have been really heartbreaking. That's why, like I said, the Clone Wars and Rebels, I think, have done a better job in showing Vader's motives in general too, and it made Darth.
Yeah.
It did not make Darth Vader stupid, but it made him seem
shallow.
It just made him seem gullible.
Yeah. So do you think? Okay, so after Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader, he kind of grew into his own, and they kind of just. I feel like they kind of put him in charge of stuff. Just kind of made him Darth Vader, and then...
Well, maybe he matured through... Because he, I can't remember if he was... he was in his late 20s when he turned into Darth Vader. I can't remember the exact age. And then it's... actually, he was probably about 30. And then it's like 19 years... It's 19 years later between that and A New Hope. So that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, I hope they. I know they've done stuff with the comics and stuff to really show Vader, getting into his role better. Yeah. I just haven't read those comics. I heard they're really good. but we just haven't seen, like, the Anakin in Revenge of the Sith does not feel at all like the Darth Vader from the original trilogy. They feel like two different characters.
Yeah.
Completely. Even when he becomes Rise, Lord Vader, and he starts killing kids, even that character doesn't feel like the Darth Vader from the original trilogy. It feels like a completely different person.
There's one day I was in a bookstore, and then...
Nice job.
Oh, thanks.
Good at reading books.
Yeah. I actually just picked up a Star Wars comic book, because I've never really...
Which one?
I don't
What's
remember...
the title?
I don't remember what it was exactly.
The Vader series, I heard, is really good.
There was a point, I was just reading it, just kind of, I flipped through it, and Vader went to Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, yeah.
In just the panels, he was just wrecking shop right there, and almost killed Jabba.
Oh, and,
So there's more to this character than we will ever visually see.
And that kind of stuff really explains the relationship that the Empire has with Jabba come Return of the Jedi and end of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Why Han Solo was given back to Jabba. I mean, Boba Fett had a hand in that as well because he was sent there, but Vader hired him.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think the Han Solo movie should have, now that they've said that Vader is going to be in the Han Solo movie. And I don't know how I feel about that because really the first time Han Solo sees Vader isn't until, I don't think he saw him in New Hope. The first time he sees him in person is Empire when he's on the Hoth base.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he sees him actually there. I have to watch it again. But I don't know how I feel about him being in the Han Solo movie. But if it's just like Vader walks by thing, like, ooh, there's Vader, I'm okay with that. But if they try to make him like, they do something like they did with Rogue One, I'm like, no, now you're just putting Vader in there for fan service. Because it makes sense in Rogue One, it's not fan service. As soon as you start doing this kind of stuff, then it's fan service.
Yeah. And they've already done the thing where they just do things just for fan service or the nostalgia, like I got a bad feeling about this, or even having
that's almost just tradition at this point,
or even having like Han Solo in The Force Awakens for that long, and Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon. It's great. You
can't have the Millennium Falcon not in there.
I know, but it was there. There
was going to need a new pilot now.
There was a lot.
Spoiler alert, I guess, for Force Awakens.
Han Solo dies.
Look, Ma, no Hans.
Oh.
But yeah, definitely. And they were. I don't think Rogue One. Most of the thing. That's what I liked about Rogue One a lot. Most of the things that were, you could call in quotations, if you're just listening, fan service. Fan service is okay if it also services the story.
Yeah,
and I think Rogue One did that.
The best.
Rogue One did that a lot and very well. Force Awakens kind of did it both. There was a lot of stuff that made sense, and there was and it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. But it was kind of like a reveal moment. It was like, that was for the fans. That was a theater clapping moment when it's like, what about that ship? That one's garbage. And then the garbage will do, and then it's the Millennium Falcon. Like, that's a moment where they put in there where they knew everyone in the theater would clap and cheer, which is fine. Because did I clap and cheer? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the less they do that going forward, that's fine in their first coming out party. The less of that they do going forward, poor choice of words, I think is the better. And I don't think, Last Jedi is going to have inspirations. That's different from Empire and Return of the Jedi and stuff like that. You have to. You can't just make a brand new movie with zero inspiration from anything else. It's impossible.
But I think they also have to be careful to not, dive so deep into the lore that
they lose the casuals.
Exactly. They lose the people that
the casuals.
It's like the Force Awakens, and I'll say this till the day I die. It was a new hope for a new generation. Yes, it was kind of like New Hope.
But there was a lot of things it did that was, people ignore purposely that it did different than New Hope.
Yeah, exactly. But, if The Force Awakens was somebody's first experience with Star Wars, then you don't want to just jump in
Just get balls deep.
just so deep into the lore that they don't know what's going on.
But at the same time, you can't treat the fans like they're idiots either. You kind of have to. You have to have not a full handhold, but you kind of have to, guide them a little bit into the lore, and then go, okay, we've set it up. There it is. Like, you can't just drop it in and be like, Journal of the Wills, forest trees, all this all this sweaty stuff. You can't just drop in Last Jedi like that. You got to start that off with some character building, and definitely with Luke. I'm so excited for where we see Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi.
Well, because what you were saying, it has to be a good Star Wars film, but it also has to be a good movie. Like what you were saying with Spider-Man 3. It's a good movie put together, but it was a bad comic book movie.
Like, if you just show that to somebody who isn't a comic book fan, doesn't really like Spider-Man, and it's just like, all right, watch this movie. It's like, yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was good. It's like, no, it was bad, and here's why. You shouldn't have to explain it.
Wrong.
Exactly. But I think it should just, it needs to serve both crowds.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also challenge.
Yes, like I said, don't treat them like idiots and hold their hand through the whole thing. You have to, let the audience try to figure stuff out.
This is a lightsaber.
Not. I always think of the scene from A New Hope where Obi-Wan gives it to.
And he looks in it.
Like he puts it like it's like that could have been the end of it right there. The end of all of this.
You see that meme?
Oh yeah.
the lightsaber, like he's got the lightsaber. He looks down. I'm gonna say the hilt. He just looks right there at the hilt. I was gonna say the barrel, but it's the hilt, and then just right through his eye. It's like,
there's like points in the Star Wars movies, like in a lot of them, where it's like that it could have ended Star Wars right there. Like in Phantom Menace, when R2-D2's on the outside of the ship with all the other R2 units trying to fix the shields, and all the other R2 units are just getting blown away. It's like if one of those bolts just hit R2-D2, it's over. Like,
I love how you had to clarify R2-D2
because there's other R2 units. And there's R4 units.
We all know who if you say R2, you know who R2 is.
But yeah, I think this ties back into what we were talking about before. Rian Johnson's getting this new trilogy. Now, it doesn't say he's directing all three, but he's directing and writing the first one. But he's developing. Basically, he's mapping out what the trilogy is going to be. Now, I would be so down. Peter Jackson it. Rian Johnson directs all three, and he does it like Lord of the Rings. Like he films it all back to back to back, and we get it. 3 years in a row, release, so we don't have to wait every other year.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But because he's doing that, means that Disney's pretty freaking confident in Last Jedi that it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't give him that if they had issues with him or the movie, because they've seen it. They've seen the movie. It's done. It's a month away. So he's the only director where they haven't had problems with. They had problems with J.J. Abrams. They were not on the same page at all the time. Did they get a good product at the end? They did. Gareth Edwards, they had to go back and do a bunch of reshoots because they didn't really like the way that Rogue One was going. Did it turn out good? Yes, it did. Yep. Lord and Miller got fired from Han Solo. Brought Ron Howard on. Is that going to be good? We'll see. If that's good, Disney's still batting a hundo. But if that turns out to be then now, Last Jedi we're assuming is going to be great, because there's no reason they would give him that much power if they didn't have that much faith in it. They did not give J.J. Abrams like, all right, you know what? We'll give you a whole trilogy after this. A whole trilogy. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
They trust this dude, Rian Johnson.
Like, if you trust your directors, they'll deliver.
I know. I think Rian Johnson's awesome. Looper, I think that's a great freaking movie.
Looper was pretty good. I liked it.
Looper's awesome. And now you have JJ coming on for episode 9. And as soon as I heard the news, I went, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I said. I didn't go, because I liked The Force Awakens. I'm sorry. If you're a hater of The Force Awakens, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I like The Force Awakens. I don't think, and they've heard, that's the thing. They've heard the complaints about Force Awakens that, oh, it's just a rehash of A New Hope. So do you think they're going to rehash Return of the Jedi frame for frame? You really think they would do that? Really?
Like, at that point, you're just not trusting Disney at that point.
What?
It's like,
You're being naive.
Yeah, that too. You just gotta sit back, and if it's good, just enjoy it, and if you don't like it, just stop watching it, and don't hate on other people.
Yeah, my biggest problem is when people, it's my thing's so awesome that I have to bring yours down to show how awesome mine is.
America.
You know, well, it's just like sports, movies, anything. People do it all the time, and I don't. It's like the whole Marvel versus DC thing. Why does it gotta be Marvel versus DC? If you don't like Marvel, that's fine. But why do you gotta like go on comment sections and forums and like Marvel's for kids and enjoy your kiddie fun movie? Like the amount of those comments I see on like a Marvel post, it's like, well, you're clearly following Marvel's page to just comment that kind of stuff on their page. So who's really the loser here?
See, those are the people that were like us, that were bullied as kids, made fun of relentlessly. Now they got older, and it's like, oh well, I guess
I have the power.
I have the power now. So they go online, they just type hate, and
there's no repercussions.
And then they just sit back and they smirk and just see all the comments come in, you know. But there's no.
I love trolls though. It's hilarious. It's funny to look at and be like, that's a person. That's somebody. That's somebody's son or daughter or somebody's dad or mom literally being 5 years old online and calling up what other people like stupid or very other vulgar terms that I'm not going to go into.
Like the dude that said that I should take a shotgun to the face.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was horrible.
Yeah.
Was it the Punisher video?
Yeah. It's like...
oh, you know, appropriate at least for the Punisher video.
I don't know, right? But it's like when you first said that, I laughed it off. I thought about it later. Like, that person, if he was standing in front of me, would he have said that?
No.
And if he did, I'd murder his ass. Like,
with a shotgun.
He would get wrecked. Like,
get wrecked, son.
Get wrecked, son.
What I heard this on Joe Rogan just a little while back, and I think it's really, really a good idea. You know, you see all these people who are trolls or whatever in their comment, but then you go to their page and it's a private page. It's like, if you, to be able to comment on other people's pages, your page can't be private. Because you better be ready for shit to come back to you.
Exactly. But
they can hide behind their privacy wall.
I just don't understand people.
Like I said, I think it's funny. Some of them are definitely doing it for the joke of it. Like, and I think that's the.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the actual troll definition. But some people, I think, really do have some problems, and because you can almost tell by the way it reads if this person is being serious or if they're just purposely being a troll.
Or that person just is not good with social cues, and you know they were joking, but it didn't sound like they were.
Well, that's what's tough about, you know, typing that stuff. You're not
either
gonna
way,
convey
though,
the tone.
If I'm on Instagram or Facebook and I'm scrolling and I see something that I don't like,
I keep
scrolling, or I get off Facebook and go to bed. I don't understand.
Now, I do think that there should be a dislike button. There should be, because what if it's like, you know, a hate video? You know, like something really shitty, like a video that's
then you just report it.
Well, that you could do that too, but you know, sometimes YouTube doesn't get to shit all the time. So you know, the dislike button works in its favor there, where it's, you know, if a video that's like really is bad, not like bad quality, but like the content is it's poor content, and
like in poor taste.
Yeah, it's in poor taste, and you just, you know, a bunch of people dislike it, and nobody watches it really anymore because it's so far down on the search bar that you're not going to even find it.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually YouTube hopefully gets to it. But, you know, I think dislike buttons are important comments are all I love reading good comments. Comments are important, but the whole like taking time out of your life to comment on something that you don't like, that other people do like, thinking that you're going to change their mind seems like a pointless endeavor.
Blows my mind that people get so upset about someone else's opinion because, like, I took a class in college, is a creative writing class, and there was a guy. His opinions were strong, but they didn't really align with a lot of people, and he offended a lot of people. But as I like to think of myself as somebody that's more or less neutral on everything, I do have my firm beliefs, but if someone has an opinion,
you're going to listen.
I'm going to listen, and
it may change yours.
And if I don't agree, that's fine. But other people...
Now, was he pushing his opinion on people?
No. It was a discussion.
See, now I like that. If you're strong in your morals, wherever they are, at least you're strong in your morals.
We were talking about a touchy subject. I forget exactly what it was. I just remember looking around the room and girls crying because they were so upset.
What?
Just so angry that this person's alive and it's like, okay, what are you hoping to accomplish? He can be an asshole over there, and that's fine. But why do you have to bring him to your side? You want him on your side? I wouldn't want him on my side. He can stay on his own side. That's fine. Troll. If you want to be a troll, be a troll. Be with the other trolls. Don't come over here.
Yeah, but what it sounds like is this guy's not even really a troll. He's just he
just has firm beliefs
in stuff, and they're on the sides that I would say, I'm just guessing here, the majority don't agree with.
Yeah, I forget. I know it was a touchy subject, but I forget exactly what it was.
But if he's not pushing it on people and trying to get them to, switch up their beliefs,
he was not insulting. He was not saying things like, well, you're stupid for believing that, or you're naive. No, he was just expressing his opinion, but people were getting so upset, shaking their head.
Was he Ben Shapiroing it, basically? Like, without as much facts?
Not to that level of awesome, but
just like, just not getting his emotions involved and just stating
it's like,
what
here it is, take it or leave it. I decided to leave it.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand. It's like, and if it's a troll, own it. It's fine if you're a troll.
We have a loyal troll.
We have loyal trolls all the time,
and it's awesome.
And if you're aware that you are a troll and what you're doing is you're doing it for fun, then that's fine. But if you're legitimately not liking what you're watching, but you take the time out of your day, out of your life, to write a hate comment on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, who's really losing this battle here? Because it's not us. Because you already gave us the view. You already commented on our video, so that's a comment. I mean, it's in our analytics, so it's going to show up when you see the video that this has this many comments. Oh, it's got a lot of comments.
Like what would you do?
You think we're gonna quit YouTube?
Like what if somebody bought our shirt and made a video of them burning it? It's like, well, we already got your money.
Thank you for paying us. Enjoy your shirt, I guess.
Enjoy your bonfire.
There's no rules on what you can and cannot do with that shirt on the website. But yeah, it's like, what do you think? You think we're going to take the video down because you didn't like it and you commented, "Aw, well, that's cute." Well, we're going to keep making videos, so sorry.
I would like to make a video calling someone out, like, that comment from so-and-so just really hit home, so this is going to be our last video to satisfy the needs of this one user. So
we gotta be like, this is gonna be our last video for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, I don't get it. But at the same time, I used to let it get to me.
Oh boy.
But that was like the first week.
Oh man, that was.
But you gotta admit, if the shoe was on the other foot there, you would have been like, oh.
They were that guy when he said that I should take a shotgun to the face.
I don't think I've gotten anything like that yet.
That hit me. They just commented on your appearance.
It wasn't even that. No, it was the I didn't like Jennifer Lawrence.
No, the one with your eyes though.
Okay, well I'm talking about like the first week we started YouTube. So we watched was it Passengers?
Yeah.
The Passengers. the Passengers trailer with Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence, and I literally nonchalantly said it was so quick and not even important to the video.
In passing.
Yeah, in passing, I was like, I'm not a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan. And I'll stand by it. I'm not a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan. Is she a very talented actress? Absolutely. Do I think she phones it in a lot? Yes, I do. Especially when it comes to Mystique. I don't like her as Mystique.
No.
And I think her best role still is probably Katniss. I think that's probably her best role in my opinion. But I just said it in passing, and all these, based off their usernames, were Jennifer Lawrence fans.
That was funny.
I think I was wearing a Batman shirt, and they were oh my, fuck the guy in a Batman shirt. That big guy in a Batman shirt's a son of a bitch. That's such a different way of saying it. You're you're a son of a bitch, but it's he is a son of a bitch. But I really took. It was the first week we started the channel, and
Dude,
immediately I was getting these hate comments, but we pushed through. I pushed through.
Well, then we were getting hate from our friends about it too.
Oh my god!
Well, not really hate.
That rubbed me worse than the people I didn't see.
Not really hate, just kind of laughed at it.
In confusion, why are you doing this?
Why would you do that? We talked to one today.
Why are we doing this?
We talked to a friend today, and he was our first hater, and he wants to be on our show, on our podcast.
I'm pretty sure he said I still don't.
It's I still don't get it, but I kind of want to be on your channel. Okay.
Well, 5,800 other people do get it.
High fiveys.
I almost pulled it back after you said that.
Why?
So, switching topics real fast.
Marvel.
No. We do that all the time.
DC.
This week is Giant
Justice League.
Yeah, all in.
So, do you want to remind them when we're seeing this movie?
Well, we got to make sure we confirm that first. It's almost confirmed. We just got to get the actual. I will just say we may or may not be seeing this movie early.
Hopefully,
but if
it'd be sweet.
I'm not sure if we do see it early. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the review embargo is still Wednesday, which we'll post a video on Wednesday, a day before the actual release. But you can do, I believe right now, your social media reactions to the movies. So we can do a Facebook and a Twitter post and a Stardust reaction. This is not me trying to plug, but it's a really cool app where you can, it sounds like a plug.
Shameless plug.
Go get the Stardust app, and it's basically a way you can do reactions, 3 to 30 second little quick immediate reactions or reviews to movies and TV shows right after you basically watch them. You do it immediately, and we can do that if we see Justice League early, and so we can kind of give our general consensus of the movie, but we can't get into details until our review.
We can't even get into details in 30 seconds. Well, we could just drop something,
we could just
but we're
drop
not going
a spoiler,
to.
but we wouldn't do that. But yeah, this week is. I don't want to say it's a make it or break it for DC, because Wonder Woman definitely turned the tide.
Okay.
But if this movie tanks, it's no bueno. I don't think it will, and I think I'm making a prediction here. I think this is going to be probably because Wonder Woman was the only the only DC movie so far to be have a high Rotten Tomatoes score, but also be fan liked, because Man of Steel had a low Rotten Tomatoes score, but if you see audience reactions, it's very high. Critics didn't like it as much, but the fans did. Almost kind of the same with BVS a little bit.
See, that's
more
the
fans
great
like
thing.
BVS than critics did.
That's the great thing about Stardust. I'm gonna plug it again.
Oh my god.
That's the great thing about Stardust, and I'm not trying to plug it, but honestly, you get the fan reactions right after the movie, and it's really cool to see not just the critics type that's what
that was a horrible
that's what I hear.
Example of a critic.
That's what I hear though. That's how I read it.
I listen to critics, but I listen to the critics that I like and that I'm kind of on the same page with. So if I know they don't like a movie, I know I'm probably not going to like it. But if I know they love a movie, I'm in. And, you got people like the Schmoes. I listen to them.
Yeah.
Critics that are like normal guys or
Yeah.
girls. All the Collider guys I listen to. I'm trying to think of, my other go-tos. Chris Stuckman. I don't know if you ever watch him. He's a really cool YouTube reviewer. But I prefer the YouTube reviewers because they feel more down to earth. I don't ever usually read like a column.
No,
Like, this is the movie review today. But yeah, the Stardust. That's what I'm really looking for is their reaction to it. You're going to be able to tell immediately if they loved it or if they hated it, or if they were indifferent, I guess. But you're going to be able to tell right away. And with Justice League, my prediction is I think it's going to be the second movie in the DC EU. Well, actually, it's technically not called that. Apparently, somebody made that up. It's not actually called that. It's just the DC, I guess, cinematic universe, which I like better.
The DCCU.
I don't know, but I think it's going to be the second movie, other than Wonder Woman, to have a critic and audience score of a positive.
Oh, it's gotta be. Just the trailers themselves. Now, they have been really good trailers.
One of my favorite trailers of all time was the Batman vs. Superman Comic-Con trailer where it showed Bruce Wayne running into the rubble. And,
Yeah.
ugh.
They can make the hell out of a trailer, but, the trailer's not... The proof is not always in the pudding.
All the Suicide Squad trailers were amazing.
That is... I've seen that movie so many times.
I've only seen it.
More than I should have.
I've only seen it one time.
Oh, wow.
In the theater. That's the only time I've seen it. And I did not hate the movie. I liked the movie, but there's really nothing in that movie that, unless, I don't need to see that movie to see Justice League.
No.
That movie feels kind of out of place.
No, it totally does, because they tried to be Guardians.
Yeah, if that would have been like the MCU going, I saw this meme. It was like, the way the DCU went, it would be the MCU going Iron Man, Captain America Civil War, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's starting like that. It's what? But I like Suicide Squad. It's just, I don't feel a necessity to watch it.
I've seen
all
that
the time.
movie so many times.
You think over 10 times?
Over 10 times.
Wow.
And it's because I watched it in the theater, and I loved it. I loved it in the theater. But then...
DC's got a knack for doing that to, like, us two. Right here. We walk out of the theater, like, high as a kite. Like, we're like,
that was so awesome. That was the best superhero movie. I'm pretty sure we said that
called
BBS.
Batman vs. Superman was the best comic book movie of all time when we walked out of the theater. We got to see that movie earlier than the general public, so we were a little hyped about that. I think that had a little bit to do with it. But I think we were just enamored by the whole thing.
And
like the fact that Batman and Superman are on screen together with Wonder Woman. I think we were just enamored by the whole experience.
And then as soon as we got to the truck, it was just... Then we started to...
I feel like it took a couple days, actually.
Like, we started to come down off the high. The next day, I started to think about it like, yeah.
Now, I will say, I like Like, the theatrical cut. I love the Ultimate Edition of Batman
Still
vs.
haven't
Superman.
seen that.
Oh, commentary. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yep, that was a good one. Okay, see, I can tell you the viewership is dripping right now.
You can't tell anything. This is a recording right now. We're not live.
But we'll do it live. Justice League.
Go ahead.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, good. I have permission. Don't even think about it. With Justice League.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm done now.
With Justice League, it's gonna be kind of a deciding factor. The movie is where this universe goes forward. Because if this movie is not good and it tanks both financially and critically, then you're going to see that Flashpoint movie coming up. That's going to be a reboot movie for this whole universe. They're gonna F up the timelines and kind of X-Men Days of Future Past this shit.
Yeah, I think that'd be the only way to do it.
And it makes sense. I mean, it's a smart business move, I guess. But if it's good, I'm just saying good. I'm not saying it's got to be Avengers level perfect ensemble superhero movie. If it's a good movie, people like it, it makes money, that's important too. It's got to make cash. If it pulls in money and it's a good movie critically, I think it saves a lot of things, and you're going to see a lot of announcements from DC coming out in the weeks in the weeks following the release, not months, in the weeks following the release, because that's when everybody's hyped about DC. Like, oh my God, did you see Justice League? Well, did you hear they just announced the Batman is coming out here, and Ben Affleck is staying on. I guarantee you, if this movie's bad, Ben Affleck is not Batman anymore.
Yeah,
and that's really disappointing.
So you said like, it's got to be good. Like there's no way it's going to be better than the Avengers, but it's got to be. I feel like it's got to be.
That was lightning in a bottle.
It's got to be, one of the best DC movies. I don't think it'll be Wonder Woman.
Are you talking about like DC cinematic movies? So not Dark Knight. Right. Let's not start counting our chickens before they hatch.
It's got to be. It's got to be up there. Like when you're in a world like this, like Marvel and DC, you can't just have like Wonder Woman up here and then continue and then just have Justice League down here.
You can't have an A+ every now and then save your D minuses.
Exactly.
Like your grade's not gonna.
Like with Marvel, let's take Marvel for example. I know we talk about Marvel a lot, but. We actually stayed on the DC train.
And I want everybody to know, we are huge DC fans.
Yeah.
If they had started in 2008, just like Marvel did, we'd be on the train.
If their movies were as good, we would like them more.
And Marvel has its duds, but and we've literally spent the last 10 minutes saying how much we've liked all of the DC EU movies, or CU, whatever they're going to call it. It's just some are better than others.
But what I was saying with Marvel is they have Avengers, Civil War, but then they have Doctor Strange and Ant-Man.
The outliers.
Yeah. They're not A+, but they're not just C's get degrees.
But that's an important point, though, because DC hasn't earned the right to make a movie like Doctor Strange or Ant-Man yet.
Yeah.
Marvel earned the right to make Ant-Man and Doctor Strange, and
they were still really good. Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, they were amazing movies.
Ant-Man's one of my favorite MCU movies. I think it's underrated because it's I think it's the funniest.
You
MCU
were just
movie.
watching it when I walked in here. It was when they made the Thomas the Train bust through the house.
But what I mean is that they haven't earned the right to go outside the box to make, because we're making a Shazam movie. Okay, here's the deal. I know who Shazam is. He's the original Captain Marvel. You know who Shazam is. Billy Batson. But to go ahead and assume, and I'm going to tell everybody right now who's watching this thing or listening, I guarantee you 60% of the population probably doesn't know who Shazam is or doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty close. And Iron Man was the same way probably right before 2008. Nobody really, everybody knows Iron Man now. I would say, a good 70-80%. I'm just ballparking here. You show a picture of Iron Man, it's like, who is this? Yoda. But they're announcing these movies like Shazam and stuff, and I don't think, if Justice League's amazing, they're starting to earn that right because they've hit 2 in a row. They hit it. I don't think it was a grand slam with Wonder Woman, but they hit a 2-run home run with Wonder Woman. If they can get a stand-up triple at least with Justice League, then they're starting to earn the right to make these weirder character movies like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. Because if they would have done either of those movies,
or Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a gamble, but
Marvel throws in a gamble every 5 or 6 movies, just like, you know what, let's roll the dice, let's go for it. And they're confident or they wouldn't release it, but the audiences are like, I don't know about this one. Now Doctor Strange was a little different, and I think that was just because in the casting, I think it was like everybody knew, okay, that's perfect casting for Doctor Strange. The cast looks good, the trailers really sold it, and the character is cool. Ant-Man's he's cool now, but when it's like Ant-Man, really? Is that what we're going with now? Like, he shrinks. He's a little, and he talks to ants. Oh, I don't know.
But that movie was fantastic.
I love Ant-Man.
Fantastic.
And like I said, Justice League's got to be good. If it's good, then they can do these Shazam movies and Black Adam. Like, they're talking about a Black Adam standalone movie. It's like, hold your freaking horses, DC.
Yeah.
Take this one step at a time.
They're already planning for these obscure characters. Why don't you focus on the big six?
How about we get a Man of Steel 2 out there, or the Batman movie, before we get into, Black Adam, or a Martian Manhunter movie.
Martian Manhunter. That'd be sweet.
I mean, I would go see. It's like I'm gonna go see all of these opening night, but your casual audience may not.
They might not see it at all.
Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, they made tons of money because the casual audience trusted Marvel at that point. They went, I don't know about Ant-Man, but you know what? Marvel, they did the Avengers, they did Iron Man, they did Winter Soldier. These are amazing movies. You know what? Let's go see it. That's how you get your casual audience to see those obscure movies. So you show them that you did Wonder Woman amazingly, and then you do Justice League amazingly. You do it justice. Then you're going to gain that trust of the casual fan, and you can do your Shazams and your Black Adam movies and your Justice League Dark movies and stuff like that.
But they need to do a Man of Steel 2.
And they need to. And to this day, Man of Steel is my favorite DC Cinematic Universe movie.
Oh, it's good.
It's so good. And everybody's like, he's not Superman. He doesn't smile. Like, okay, well, let's reverberate the fact that he was Superman for like 5 minutes, and then he had to fight General Zod.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of give him a pass for not smiling. Like, why would he smile? Like, and this is a different Superman than the Christopher Reeve Superman, absolutely, and it's a different age.
Yeah.
I feel like if Superman came to Earth right now, that would be what he would be like.
He'd be scared. He'd be a scared child.
Oh my God, and he's so alone in this world.
Yeah, because his died.
Exactly, and I think that's
actually, I think they didn't make him smile because his teeth are kind of messed up.
Is Henry Cavill's teeth? I don't know.
They're a little janky.
I'm not looking at his teeth, dude. That dude's friggin' jacked. Do you remember that scene when he comes he saved the oil rig?
So you would rather look at his body
than his mouth? Who's weirder here? You decide. But you remember the scene where he saves the oil rig?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then he falls in the ocean, and the whales save him. People were like, "Oh, it's Aquaman." I don't think so, but
you don't know.
And then he runs up onto the little shore town there and steals people's clothes.
Thief.
What
a thief!
I think he's earned it. But he runs up the hill, and dude, he is ginormous. And Christopher Reeve was, they didn't put muscles in his suit. He was big too, but Jesus H, Mary, and Joseph, there's. I don't want to make this a conversation about best superhero bodies, but he's probably up there with the Hemsworths and the Evans and the Pratts now, I guess you could say.
Well,
remember when Pratt was on Parks and Rec? What a change!
Yeah, total 180. Aquaman, though, I am really excited to see him on screen.
I think he's stealing this movie.
Oh yeah, he's got to steal the show.
Oh yeah, and he kind of
Aquaman movie.
It's next year.
I know. And
here's the thing, Jason Momoa said there's a post-credit scene in this movie, and there's only been one in the DC universe so far, and that was Suicide Squad, and I love that post-credit scene.
That's good.
It gives me chills every time, where it's Bruce Wayne and Amanda Waller, and it's like, you should.
How did she not die? I'm sorry, she should have died.
You can't kill Amanda Waller. She's such a big character in the comics and stuff like that.
Ugh.
But I hated her. But that was good. That was the point of the movie. Anyway, off topic. I just love that after credit scene. It's like, you should stop, because she obviously knows he's Batman. But you should stop working nights, and you should shut it down. My team will handle it. But where does that take place, though? I'm guessing he hasn't. That's right before Justice League, because he was getting files for Flash and Aquaman, learning where they are so he can go get them.
So he assumed he had a team.
Well, I guess he's like,
Or
I will
he just-
persuade them.
Or he just knew that.
What makes you think they want to be found? Just a feeling.
Yeah.
God, I'm sorry. I love Batman vs Superman. Fucking sue me. I love that movie. There's so many.
Fucking sue me.
Like, and I'm not going to go into it because it's somebody else's rant and somebody else's video, but go watch Cinema Wins video for Batman vs Superman. I think it'll change your way you look at it, especially the Martha scene, because I think if you literally only think that Batman and Superman stopped fighting and became friends because their moms had the same name, that's being really naive and really just kind of glossing over story points and plot points that were hit on throughout the movie. That's the whole reason we were shown the death of the Waynes the first time. Or again, and then they kind of flashed it back when he said Martha. It was kind of like a snap him out of kill rage moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't care that Batman killed people in that movie as long as he doesn't do it anymore.
Really?
Because I think that was a really broken point of Batman's life where the whole movie is him planning to kill Superman. It was a really broken part of his life, and I think very symbolic was the last scene with him and Lex Luthor in the jail cell where he busts out the brand and he doesn't brand him. He hits the wall. I think that was symbolic of who this Batman is going forward from now on.
You don't think he's going to kill aliens?
Those aren't people.
So they don't count?
No. He doesn't kill a human being.
Good. Okay. I was going to say, if an alien's going to kill me, I'm going to kill it first.
I don't think he will kill a person on Earth going forward.
Right.
And I think, like I said, I think that scene at the end of Batman vs. Superman was symbolic of that. And God, I so hope Ben Affleck keeps playing Batman. He's so good, and it's so crazy that I will, you believe me or not, but when the news came out, Ben Affleck is the new Batman, I was like, fucking genius casting, because he had just done like Argo and stuff. Like, dude, this guy can act, he can write, he can direct, and he's a big Batman fan. He's got the superhero butt chin. Like DC's on point with that. They got their superhero chins down. Like Superman and Batman, they got their really like almost Mr. Incredible chins.
The cleft chin.
The crimson chin.
The crimson chin.
Fairly Odd Parents reference. But yeah, and he's my favorite Batman, live action at least. You can't beat Kevin Conroy, the animated version. But I think he is so good at the Bruce Wayne persona and then the Dark Knight persona, where I thought Christian Bale, I never really bought him as Bruce Wayne.
Really? I didn't buy him as Batman either.
I guess he's terrible.
I guess he's just bad all around.
No, I mean, Christian Bale is he's probably my second favorite Batman. No, it's in live action. It's probably Affleck, then Keaton, and then Christian Bale. But I think they did such a good job in Batman vs Superman, like the party scene where he's talking to Clark Kent, and the girl just walks by, and his head turns with her, and he turns back. It's like, sorry, pretty girl, bad habit. Don't quote me. It's like that's Bruce Wayne. That is him. But it's like the Batman, and I think Spider-Man's another one. There's a few superheroes. Most superheroes, they put on the mask, but their alter ego is Steve Rogers or Tony Stark or Clint Barton. That's their alter ego. With Batman and I would say Spider-Man is another one. They put on the mask. That's who they really are. The other person is that's their persona that they put on. The superhero, when they put on the mask, that's when their actual personality comes out.
I disagree with you about Cap.
I didn't say Cap, I said Spider-Man.
No, I'm saying, but you said Steve Rogers is his alter ego. I don't think they're different people.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying those superheroes like Tony Stark and Cap, whatever, they put on a mask and they fight crime, but they're like, he's Steve Rogers, that's who he is. He's Tony Stark, that's who he is. He puts on the mask and he's not a different person.
Okay.
Or if they are different people, it's just because this is the persona I'm putting on.
They're enhanced. They enhance their original persona.
But for like someone like Batman, Bruce Wayne is his fake. Batman, when he puts on that mask, that's who he really is. He's
Yeah.
not just fighting crime. That's when all this anger and rage that's been pent up in him since he was a kid, that's where it comes out.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Spider-Man, but you flip it. Spider-Man, when he's got the mask off, he's mild-mannered Peter Parker. When he puts on the mask, he's quipping, he's telling jokes, he's smack-talking. Like, that's who he is. That's who he is on the inside, and he wants to bring that out. The mask lets him bring that out.
Yeah. Which is really ironic. You mask something to have people not see it, but they put the mask on to actually show
Exactly.
who they
And
are.
I think Ben Affleck has done the best job of portraying that part of Batman, where his Bruce Wayne, it's suave and it's like James Bondy at times, and he's smart, but when he's in the suit, oh, okay, that's Batman. Like, that's who he wants to be right there.
Yeah.
Like, when he you'd be lying to everybody and your mom if you thought the warehouse scene wasn't cool. Like, I mean, seriously, like, it's like, there's nothing good about Batman versus Superman. Really? Did you watch the warehouse scene? If you don't think that's the best action set piece Batman's ever been in, you're lying to you and yourself, both of you.
You're lying to your mind, your brain, and you.
But yeah, but that scene when the guy stabs him, and then Batman gets up, takes the knife out, and is walking him down.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's Batman right there. That's Batman. Man, I'm really impressed with us how much we're talking about DC.
I know. We haven't talked. We've touched on Marvel.
Found ways to sew in Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. Like, I've sewn in their names into our DC conversation. But overall, I would just say I am nervously excited for Justice League.
Yeah, I wouldn't say nervously excited. I am really excited.
When I say nervously excited, I guess I mean nervous for the future.
Yeah.
But for this single movie, I'm hyped. Fuck, I'm hyped. I'm hyped, and the trailers have been so good. And I'm sorry if you haven't listened to it yet. The cover for Come Together that they made specifically for Justice League is probably like my favorite cover of all time. It gets me. I'm not sick of it yet.
Yeah, play it till you hate it.
And then you got Danny Elfman doing the score again, who did Batman '89, and they said that he's bringing back the original Batman theme from the Michael Keaton one, just for a little bit. I heard just like the da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na, and then they're bringing back the John Williams Superman theme just a little bit, working it in there. My guess is it's gonna be when he shows up. You're gonna hear the bum 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 bum. If that happens,
but hearing it
you've won the
differently
movie for me.
Like just hearing it a little bit differently.
Put a spin on it.
Like more bass.
Dun, 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 dun. If that happens, the movie's good. That's all I need. That's all I need. There's just certain things like that that can make or break a movie, and you have a circle shot Avengers style thing team up, but with the Justice League, you probably won my heart already.
Yeah. Well, that was a good podcast, I feel like.
I know.
So, what are we seeing tonight, Quinn?
Daddy's home too.
Daddy's home too.
Daddy. I don't know.
That's my big man.
I don't know where my expectations lie just yet on this one, but
it's gonna be so funny. I don't care.
I think people over criticize comedies. You know what I mean? I think they look too far into the details. Just have fun at the movies.
Just watch it and laugh.
We're going into this movie with an open mind, and yeah, that's it.
And after the movie, if you don't have the Stardust app, go ahead, get on that Stardust app, and you'll see our reaction right after the movie. It's going to be awesome.
And if we're plugging Stardust, we might as well plug T-Blocks again. So
T-Blocks.
Once again, guys, T-Blocks, really cool geek t-shirt subscription service that we partnered with recently, and they got some really cool plans and options over there. We did a whole video on it. Make sure you check out that video, and if you use the code ICONICTBX, you're going to save
ICONICTBX.
Yeah. If you use that code, you're going to save 10% off.
I really hope I spelled that right.
I know. You're going to save 10% off your entire order over there, and that'll be in the description box
really
below
excited.
on YouTube.
I'm excited for those shirts. That's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. All right, guys. So if you're listening, make sure you guys like this like this podcast, and make sure you also rate and review us so that we get higher up on iTunes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
So you don't miss a single thing from the channel.
Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.